Right, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be episode 2 of my Mark II rebuild. I'm going to get my engine in this video. It's actually complete on the subframe already, but first of all I've got to get the cars out, got to move the garage around, and then I'm probably going to go over the spec of the engine, like what bits I've used to do the conversion and all that, and then we'll crack on trying to get it in. I'm going to put it in from underneath to try and avoid smashing the bay up. My neighbour's got a bike stand, which will be easier to move it around than it will be on a jack, so hopefully it all goes well. Right, so before we put the engine in, we're going to put this reflective heat wrap in. It's design engineering. I got this from Burton's. I think it was about 45 quid with a little bit of discount that I get. The manifold goes on this side, and the reason we're doing it is so we don't burn the paint. It's going to go roughly there, but I'm probably going to chop these down so it sits just under the top mount. Right. So I've measured out 100mm in 3 strips because a few people have told me it's actually really difficult to fit. So right, so that's the first one done.
Someone might recognise your hands.
Harry come in, save the day.
It's good, that, isn't it?
All done. It's got a few creases in it. It's actually a lot harder than it looks to do, but it's going to protect the paint at least. Alright, car's in position. We're going to crane it up through the cross member. Crane it up, undo them struts, put some stands under it, hopefully get it high enough to get that in. Right, so just going to go over a quick spec of the engine. It's a Duratec out of an ST150. You can get them out of a Monday as well, but I'm sure the ST150's got a larger head, larger valves, and better ported head, and I think that is the code there to get a better head. Gen V throttle bodies. This is a retro-fueled alternator kit. Can't really see it, but there's also a retro-fueled sump under there. Retro-fueled lowered World Cup cross member, lowered rack World Cup cross member, but I'm using Motorsport Tools engine mounts, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm using a Simpson manifold, and it's really hard to see, but there's a really small notch out of it there. Basically the retro-fueled ones wouldn't fit. I think I got some photos on my phone. This is for the oil catch can, AirTech. That's just a normal ST150 starter motor. Obviously I think this is a 95-degree thermostat housing. I think it's 95. This is off of a Caterham, and it's actually very tight there, but it's not touching, but that's off Caterham. And this is also Caterham oil filter, the smallest one you can get. Can't remember where I got this off. I think it's Motorsport Tools for the bell housing. And this box is off Caterham. It's Type 9 straight cut, and Caterham actually have a longer shaft, so my hydraulic clutch wasn't working, so I got the 20mm spacer plate. Then I actually had to grind down a bit of the bell housing, which I think I've got photos of again, so I'll put them up. This is a remote bleed nipple. Right, so it was a bit hard to see in the video, but I was laying under here while Scott was pushing it in. It was very, very tight on that bottom panel, but it's in place now. This jack's done wonders. So much easier to use. Obviously, it's on the subframe, so I've got to line it up here, let the car down slowly, jack up with this, and hopefully it goes in easy. I hope. Right, so that's the car being let down on the big stands. They're all the way down. I think this little bike stand should lift up high enough so I can still lay under it and get the subframe bolts in. And I've got the jack on the back of the box, so it's only me and Scott. We've got to be quite careful doing it, but I reckon we should be able to do it. We got the 2 cross member bolts in here, and if we run round to the other side, it's a bit hard to see, but just got to take the subframe back a little bit more, and then again it's very hard to see, but if you look up here, the water rail's very, very tight, so I'm hoping there's enough room to actually get it on without the water rail touching the bulkhead.
I'm too tired.
I can't do it. So now I need to cut this bit out with a grinder because I drilled it in the wrong place. Right, so I've marked out the holes where it's going to go. I'm going to drill them out, put clinch nuts in it, so it's a lot easier than nut and bolting it, and then I'm probably going to cut around the outside of the rest of it and open the heart up a little bit more so it gives the box a little bit more room to move. You don't have to zoom. Right, so that's the plating all cut. I didn't record all of the cutting because it was a bit long-winded and I was cutting, measuring. It looks alright and it brings the gearbox up high enough that the engine sits nearly level, but I'm not really sure if I like it. Obviously that's a bit gappy in that. I might get one of them extended ones that come up because I think the gearbox might need to come a little bit higher and then bolt it down here and leave it alley, because I've actually got a Driftworks alley hydro to put in it as well. Right, so using a retro fold adjustable gearbox mount, this is the 370mm one. So that's the longer one because I've got a large tunnel. That goes in there, that goes in there. And these are spreader plates for the inside. So yeah, let's line it up underneath before we drill through. So it comes with all the nuts and bolts, so right, so that's it all bolted up. And then we're going to go and try and line it up in the car. Actually done it back to front, so just flips it over. Right, this might be a bit hard to see, but we've got the mount in place. At the minute I've just got around and bolting it because I haven't actually got a proper Type 9 bolt because I like M12 or something. If you can see here, the 2 front ones either side are lining up, but the back ones are not, and I think it's because the tunnel's so big. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill these 2 front ones in, and I'm possibly going to drill another one in around here. It's a shame because if that was there, it'd be ideal, but it's not, and I've tried flipping the mount and this is the only way we can do it. So we're going to drill these ones in and then see how we get on. John, pilot bit, and then probably drill the rest from the inside. Right, so that's all the gearbox mounts in. Few of these nice little spreaders. Thanks to my neighbour for sorting them out, Mr. Pink. But I think they look a lot better. I didn't think the retro full mount was going to fit because it was right on the swage, but it's just about fit. That's the Simpsons manifold on. I just need to get all the studs on and torque it up.
Simpson.
Yeah, Simpson, whatever. So I think it actually aims into the gearbox mount, but obviously that's going to get a bit of a cut and shut well, not cut and shut, but cut and re-welded once I put on proper exhaust on it anyway. Alright, now the manifold's back on, we'll chuck the water rail back on. I haven't torqued the manifold bolts up yet because I haven't got a torque wrench here in a minute, but I am going to torque them up. I think they're 50 Newton meters. Right, that's the engine in, gearbox done, gearbox mount done. Bodies are on, manifolds on, water rails on. Right, that's the end of this video. The car's back in its normal position. Engine's all in, obviously, as you can see. Gearbox mount's bolted up, which there's a few clips off. I've also done the little gear surround, but I'm not very happy with it. I want to get one of them tower ones instead of just that little one. And also I think that the gearbox needs to come up a little bit because this water rail is very, very slightly touching, which obviously I don't want it to. As long as I can get a couple mil behind it, I'll be happy. And I just think the tail end of the gearbox needs to come up. There's adjustment on the actual retro-fold mount, but it's touching the top of the tunnel when I push it up, so I'm going to cut a bit more of the tunnel out at a later date. I'm going to be getting the inside of the car painted again. That's why I didn't really care what was on the floor of it, because it come back from the painters and I wasn't 100% happy with it, so I'm going to get it done again on Tuesday, which is a couple of days from now. So when it does come back, I'll be chucking the cage and whatnot in it. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who's been ordering on the website lately. You've been starting to get a few more orders in, so thanks for the support for that. I'll leave the link to the website in the description. I'll leave the group, I'll leave the page, and I'll leave the link to the meet in the description as well. Thanks for watching. And I just want to say a big thank you to Michael and Scott for helping me get the engine in, and a big thanks to Mr. Pink for lending me